Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. Your host, I am your host. What am I talking about? Your host is me. I am your host. I do have some special guests on today who I'll be announcing shortly. Stay tuned. But this episode is all about Reddit. Yes, we are tackling this big one again because an hour is just not enough time. And I know we spoke back in 2022. For some reason, I thought it was shorter time than that. But we spoke with Suki Jade last time to talk specifically about marketing yourself on Reddit. We are continuing to talk about Reddit and how you can use that as a tool to help yourself. We are going to be talking about some nasty things on Reddit as well, because there's a lot of nasty people that are on that platform as well, and how to keep yourself mentally okay navigating through all the scum that's on there. No, but seriously, I'm also a Reddit user myself, not for sex work, but to read up on local things and other things that has nothing to do with the work. But a lot of people do utilize it because it can be a great tool to help get new clients, actually to build community, and all around hilarious for memes and other things. But before we jump in, I just want to introduce myself. I am your host, Steph Sia, aka Kimchi on stage. I am a stripper. I go by the name Kimchi on stage. That is me. I'm also a cam girl as well. You can find me on Stream It exclusively under Sia on Camera. And I was a sugar baby for many years, and that's kind of how I got started into the industry. That's kind of myself in a nutshell. And I've been doing this podcast for the past 5 years or so. We are now on season 7. And I'm super stoked for this season because we're going to be talking about all of the spicy things that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, since you listeners are so fantastic and have many great questions and great topic ideas. And I want to just get more into it all. So stay tuned with me. Bear with me. We are going to get into the mean bones of the episode, but I just want to say hello to the Patreon fans that are out there. I will do a quick little fan recognition shout out for those who are on the 2nd and 3rd tiers here. I just want to say hello to Dan from Red Door Products, all the way in Seattle, all the way as in not very far from where I am on the West Coast. You got McKenna King from Edmonton. You got Via York, also from Seattle. Eric Arajo from Unknown Locations, Selena Money, and guys are also from Unknown Locations. And we have Snoo Snoo all the way from Germany. So thank you so much for guys helping financially support the show. As you all know, that is going towards hosting fees for my website, which helps cut down that cost, which is nice because everything costs money in this world. And sometimes that money will also go towards funding adult industry events that I attend. Honestly, I probably won't be attending any events in the near future or anything in this year. I don't even know what's going to happen next year, but we'll see what happens. I just like to be online and in my space and like being in person. And anyways, I'm in a different headspace right now, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'm still very much enjoying doing this show and many more cool topics to uncover. But enough about me. I am really excited to be talking to our esteemed guest today, Priestess Poison, who is a Reddit consultant, dominatrix, content creator, fetish clip artist, Twitch streamer, person on the interwebs, and the person who'll be talking to us today about all things to do with Reddit. How did I do as your hype woman, Priestess Poison, and go.
Honestly, pretty great. Pretty good. I was like, damn, what'd she leave out? I'm like, maybe that I make jewelry.
Oh, I did not find that on the internet, but okay, you'll make jewelry. Cool.
It's a little it's mostly just because I collect medical oddities, and so that includes uranium glass. My specialty is like a lot of medical play. So whenever my cat would break a piece, I would normally turn it into jewelry so that I could buy more uranium glass.
There we go. I did not know. Okay, this is a whole tangent and thing I'm going to have to be Googling on later today. And there's probably a subreddit on that too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I'm so excited to post my latest haul because I found one in the wild. So everyone loves it. Yes. So
I mean, I talked about all the things that I believe I have found that is publicly available online, but I always like to throw it back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just say financial dominatrix, yes. IRL lifestyle dominatrix as well. Wearer of many hats. You can see me at anywhere from Exotica to like Katsucon, all of the anime conventions left my head at like one brain, and I'm like, where's all the ones that I go to nearly every year? Because I got my start in the industry around 18. You know, I'd already been like cosplaying, so I started doing like cosplay bikini stuff. On my 19th birthday, my gift to myself was a pinup shoot where I did my first like saucy topless thing, and like, you know, you couldn't see anything. My personal rules for nudes were that I wasn't going to do them until I felt that I was competent enough as a model for them to not be like totally cringeworthy when I look back on them, like a couple. But like, I'm looking back at some of my old, like, when you first start, and it's like, who set that stage? And I know it was me, and I really want someone else to blame, but it wasn't. But yes, I've been on Reddit, basically since I was allowed to be on Reddit. I would cycle through accounts. You used to be able to do that. It is a standard forum. And old Reddit is different than new Reddit. If you go to reddit.com right now, it'll pull up a brand new fancy UI that's usually like black and orange, because most people use dark mode. It's normally the techie sort of site. It became popular after Dig went under and all of the pretty much other sites. And it's just essentially a forum that will conglomerate links from other sites almost. To the point where that Reddit used to not have its own native image uploader. You used to have to upload your images to another site and then link to them to Reddit so that you could say, so like if you had a picture of your cat and you wanted to share it to like our cat pictures, you could, you know, you would have to go. And there was actually a person that created a site specifically for Reddit that turned into its own sort of like mini forum thing. That's Imgur. And that's also what you can use if you want to strip metadata from your posts.
Which is helpful for sex workers.
Like, yes, don't get doxxed, please. Please stay safe. Please stay safe.
Yes.
I make content about that too. Like, this is how, like, please do this. Please do this. Please don't do that. Yes. Don't think a VPN does that. It doesn't. Basically, like, someone says something like insane and I like come running like, no.
Let's not.
I had to start hacking the computer as a child because I got caught reading gay fan fiction. So in order to do homework, I had to hack the computer, and now I have a day job in cybersecurity. But that makes it pretty easy to help other people be safe online. Totally. And also, it came with the bonus points of knowing how to use Reddit, because it is a very obscure,
obtuse as well. Yes.
It's very strange, I should say, and especially with the fact that Redditors are curmudgeonly and it's all self-moderated. That's the big thing. So I would say, like, with Reddit, it's incredibly difficult, and it's gotten progressively difficult throughout the years, but you very much so want to follow every single subreddit's rules. Typically, there are like a handful of people that will moderate the biggest subreddits. And you don't want to just be posting on the biggest subreddits because you'll be lost in a sea. You want to post in a mix of subreddits with a lot of subscribers, also to like subreddits as specific, because there will be extremely hyper-specific subreddits like are bread stapled to trees, and it's just pictures of bread stapled to trees, and I am not joking with you. You can go there right now to this day and find all of those pictures.
I believe you.
I mean, yeah. Obama got r thanks Obama shut down. And I would like to say that when I say r, when you go to a subreddit, you type in www.reddit.com/r/ and then it would be the subreddit name, and that's the forum. And typically the forum name tells you a little bit about what it's about. So, you know, there's, adult work, adult needs, cat pictures. It's everything from safe to work to not safe for work.
Right.
And with basically the OnlyFans influx of creators, things have gotten a lot more crazy on Reddit, and things have gotten a lot more strict. And so that's why I have essentially an Excel spreadsheet that I use It needs updated currently, but it has basically statistics of the subreddit and just like the general rules, because there will be rules down to even watermarking your images, which you should always do.
Yes, you should.
But most, or not most, but a significant portion of subreddits will ban you if you have anything but your Reddit username and a watermark. And oftentimes, like if it's a foot fetish subreddit that's about souls, if you have the watermark like over your soul, they will deny the post because you can't see the full soul.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So like it's a balance of keeping it like you can't crop it out, but also you're not going to get banned from the subreddit. So it is definitely a toss-up. I will say Reddit is typically better if you do more niche or amateur style content, because that's typically what people go there to consume. Yes. And I, in my personal opinion, it's pretty much always been that way, and I think it will continue to be that way, especially given Redditors' extreme hostile resistance to change. any change at all. Like if you get a subreddit banned, a new one will pop back up, or maybe several will pop back up, and like one of those will survive, and they'll just like follow Reddit's terms of service better and keep everybody in line. But yeah, so you want to be very careful, follow all the rules. And I know a lot of people like to use engagement groups on different platforms. Never, ever, 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 ever do that on Reddit.
Do not do that on Reddit. Anyone listening, do not.
Never. Not only will it not benefit you in the slightest, because nobody's really looking at upvotes. If you look at the subreddits that are geared towards selling specifically, like usually it'll be like worn items, or you'll be advertising like sexting messages, packages, what have you. You'll need to be verified, and it's moderated, and you'll have to, because you have to be verified to post there, because they want to make sure you're not a minor, you're not a scammer, you're not any of these things that's going to get like the subreddit in trouble, make the mods look bad, make the community look bad, get anything banned. Like you want to follow all of the rules, and that includes like no Reddit upvote groups, and upvotes will not benefit you. If you want something to benefit you, I would pay for a scheduling tool. Like I personally use Delay for Reddit most of the time. Like $20 a month gets you 70 posts a week. And you can schedule it for the best post, or the best time to post today, or the best time to post that week. And it will post it to when that subreddit is most active, most poppin', has the most users. And it allows you to like follow rules, leave a comment, and all of those other things. So highly recommend it.
What was the name of that tool again? Schedule Reddit?
Delay for Reddit. You can go to delayforreddit.com or Google it. There's also like a million other tools. That's just the one I prefer. And most tools will have like a post at optimal time.
They should.
Type deal. So just you have to be careful, but typically if you have a niche or have a style, you will post to the same similar subreddits, will have the same rules. And there's this will sound insane, but there's like syndicated subreddits. For example, one that comes to mind are like the Dirty Dolls. They have just like dozens and dozens and dozens of subreddits that are all run by like the same team, I think, of women, just running like mostly like worn item subreddits, and occasionally other things. So like you have to be very careful, because if you get banned from one Dirty Dolls subreddit, boom, all of them gone. And that's why I'm saying you have to be. And then Reddit is not a site like where if you get banned, you can just create another account, because to post on anything that's truly going to get you money, sales, traction, attention, you have to be verified. And to be verified, you have to submit pictures of yourself, usually with like a crumpled piece of paper, and like exposing enough of your body to show and prove who you are, who you say you are. Makes sense. A lot of people, even on other platforms like Twitter, will not like want to interact with your posts if you don't like have an age verified link. And it's kind of the same thing. The moderators are just verifying that. So it's nothing super crazy. You never really have to give away any personal information. If you want to be like faceless, most of the time you can be faceless. But like if you include your face in posts, they want to see your face. But if you get banned, there is no way to evade that ban because Reddit is moderated all by humans.
Yes,
so
they are.
There is no algorithm you will be able to escape. You will be banned forever. It has happened to several like people on Reddit that were really, really popular back in the day, and now I've not seen them anywhere. I have no idea what they're doing now because they've just the most gone. And there's even a subreddit where you can like take control of a subreddit that has either been banned or like basically because subreddits are like usernames, they're unique. So if there's someone using the same name that you want to use, you can like essentially submit a request and have the ownership transferred to you for you then to moderate that subreddit.
But quick question for you, talking about like self-moderation. As sex workers, we're so used to fighting against algorithms is one thing. And we're like, well, it would be nice to actually, appeal this to an actual human. Now we have the flip side with Reddit being all self-moderated by humans. But I'm seeing some eye rolls here. But I would love for you to go over the pros and cons of that. Of, yes, these are humans, but also what are some bad things that are associated with that? Because Reddit's a lot for the male gaze.
Yeah, so because it's all humans, you're like almost always going to be able to reach out to somebody. And unless you do something really, really, really dumb, which is a lot easier to do now, they are getting more and more strict, especially with the new government regulations. Like, post Sesta Fosta, everything's been like ramping up steadily to what is and isn't allowed. But basically, even if you're banned from a large swath of subreddits, as long as your account isn't permanently banned by like the Reddit themselves administrators, you're okay. So the pros of self-moderation, meaning that, you're not really going to have a lot of bots, you're not going to have a lot of scammers. They still exist, they always will, but it's pretty easy with like the verified and big subreddits that you have to be verified on. You're going to do that. And there's forums for people like sex workers, task force support. Like there's, literally just like our sex workers. We just like ask questions and all this other stuff. Basically a ton of support groups. So even if you don't want to sell anything and you just want to ask questions and network with other sex workers, you can do that. There's a subreddit for quite literally everything. I used to moderate a subreddit about a fruit I hated. So like there is a subreddit for everything. Yes. If you build it, they will come. So that gives you the pro of, anyone can create a subreddit. Back in the day, Twitch streamers, cam girls, they would create their own subreddits and use it basically as their own advertising board. Or fan people would create their own fan pages for them, like you see now in fan Instagrams. So that's really cool. It's nice because you can have your own, there's, client review forms. So if there's somebody that like rips you off, scams you in some way, you can report them. You can report them to the moderators. You can report them to a reporting forum on Reddit. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but there's, like fetish sellers forum and stuff like that and fetish buyers forum. So, and those are literally, I think, just the direct subreddit names. Like you can just type in reddit.com // and, all those. And, so that's really cool because you can get both sides on one site and you don't really need to be verified on multiple different platforms or like have like sock accounts where like pretending to be someone else. So it is nice, but the fact that you are limited to essentially like one persona, it's not like YouTube where you can have multiple different YouTube channels for like, a mukbang channel or whatever and this and that. It's like, no, you have like one account and it's like you got one shot and don't blow it. But as easily as you can report a client for scamming you, a client can also go and report you for scamming them. And there are subreddits that are entirely private where you need an invite from a member to get inside. There are subreddits that are like quarantined by admin because of government rules or they're just general toxic behavior. and stuff like that. So like, for example, I had just started, and I was like really overwhelmed with like the amount of wares I was getting, because people love to buy worn socks, and for my worn socks were popping off, and so you know, I didn't have a set like my own schedule for sex work yet.
Yeah.
So I was just like looking at my calendar date, and like I was, you know, a little under the weather. I gave him the wrong date, and it was like the right day, but it was off by like a week, which is, it's totally fair.
Yeah.
And he asked, and I double checked, and I was like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. Like, I have a wear scheduled then. Your wear would start now, then there. Like, I messed it up with this. And, you know, but basically, so it was so funny. The guy didn't even buy from me. He was basically just quizzing me to see if I was like a scammer, essentially. And he was... He was messaging other people that had commented on my post that he had like assumed purchased from me, which yes, they did. And my what I felt was a very reasonable explanation for, hey, I was under the weather, I have ADHD. It was nighttime where I'm at in the Eastern time zone, so my medication had completely worn off. It was the same. It was like the right day of the week. I just looked at the wrong day in the calendar. I'm very sorry. Yeah. It's okay that you don't want to buy from me, but like, you didn't buy from me. I didn't do anything. And this person who did buy from me is still getting what they ordered. Yeah. But regardless, I had a negative review made about me on that account. And that haunted me basically until that account was terminated, which was actually really funny. So that account was terminated by Reddit admin, and they were like, listen, we understand your comment. And it's like, it was in a very gray area of TOS. So they're like, you can make a new account, but if you pull that shit again, gone. Totally. And it's so easy. Like I remember, like, I left a very milquetoast comment. Like, I just said something was unsafe. Yeah. And I would not have sent my wife to do that. Right. And, like, basically because it was interpreted in a way that was anti-police, that account was mass reported, and since it was the second account, it was terminated, and so I literally had to email admin every day and be like, please give account back, because they limit you to, like a tweet limit of characters for, like, why you have to appeal the account. And I remember, because I have a planner, and I was, like, had every week of like tracking followers, like ban, and it was literally about like a month and a half of every day emailing, and they restored my account finally, because squeaky wheel will get the grease. But and it was a very milquetoast comment. Like, I was trying to say, like, it was as milquetoast as I could put it. Like, I just said it was an unsafe situation. Yeah. I personally wouldn't. So like, you have to be very careful, because like I said, because I even tried figuring, like, screw it, I'll make a new account. But I have tattoos.
Yeah, identifiable, so guess what? Markers, right?
Identifiable. My hair is very identifiable. So, I mean, even if I, like, dyed my hair and, like, what am I going to put, glamouflage or whatever that tattoo cover-up is everywhere, every time that would be caught and banned, and it would be so much worse. So, yeah, you have to be very careful. And it is a little annoying, because you can't have two accounts, and there are subreddits that will not allow you to post if you sell anything anywhere.
Yeah, I have seen those posts before.
Well, and it's because either the subreddit will have minors in it, which is very much so acceptable, like, you know. But it is a little annoying that you can't post in, like, like, smiles or like pick me up or not like pick me up or like cheer me up, because like you also sell content, and you can't have two accounts, because that goes against Reddit's terms of service. You can't have like a not safe for work and a safe for work account. So that is very frustrating. You are very much so limited to one. But there are plenty of subreddits that you are allowed to post in that will not care that you are a seller or
you just gotta pick and choose wisely, because there's so many subreddits out there.
And they will list it right in the description. Like, the rules will be right in the right-hand sidebar of the list. And they'll list it out, so they'll tell you if they will ban you.
Totally.
And to get a Reddit account off the ground, it's like, you basically like comment on like a relevant post every day. I say like pick something you're interested in. Do you pole dance? Do you have a cat? Do you have like any hobby? Because there will be a subreddit for it, but make it not related to selling. And you basically have to build that account up so they know you're not a bot. You're not just Reddit essentially wants you to be simultaneously on the platform using it not just for selling, but they will ban. Well, a lot of subreddits will ban you if you're a seller. So it's kind of like a catch-22
Totally.
you're in. But it is very good for selling niche and especially worn items.
Right.
But you have to be careful because people are crazy and they will find you even if like you have done nothing to them because like a negative review was made about you. Be like, this bitch scammer.
Right. Well, that's actually a really good segue though too. Like I think it's really important when talking about Reddit is to talk about safety because there are like Sugi and I talked about this too, but like, you know, managing and navigating through the trolls out there, but not just trolls, but actually predators that might be on the platform or like some person that you might have just pissed off one day can just like go on a freaking like witch hunt, you know, because I've seen those happen. It's scary.
Yeah, like I said, it's happened to me a minimum of like 2 or 3 times. You know, for things that I felt were very like mix up, honest misunderstandings, what have you. And this is the site you can't ban evade from. And so if you're caught breaking terms of service by using like upvote groups, you will be gone from that platform forever. You can like still read a comment. You'll still be able to use the site, but you will not be able to create an account and like get verified on adult, whatever.
Right.
And now that's not to say that every single adult one, because to my knowledge, our used socks, you can just log in and day one start advertising used socks. And honestly, I do recommend that you do kind of start there because a lot of subreddits, like if I remember correctly, the Dirty Dolls ones in specifically won't allow you into post in their subreddit if you don't already have like advertising, selling content posted on your thingy. Right. So Reddit it's and there's also these new rules that didn't exist when I first started or first had accounts where like you have to have, especially on bigger subreddits, a certain number of karma, right? Which are like karma. Reddit points, which is like the number of people that have essentially like clicked like on your comment or post that will allow you to post in the bigger subreddits. And that's just to weed out new accounts, trolls, stuff like that. And that's why I tell people go to a very, very small subreddit, like for your very niche, like do you have a tortoiseshell cat? Because like go to that subreddit and start talking about your cat. And like you want to leave comments because comment karma is different from post karma. So you want to make both posts when be like, this is a picture of my cat, and also comment on someone else's picture and be like, wow, your cat's so cool. I love that name. And it has to be a relevant comment. You can't just leave like emojis, because when people go to verify that you have commented, let's say, or been active every day for, let's just say 30 days is normally, and they count active, like you can like miss commenting here like a day, but like you can't go more than a day or two without a comment in a 30-day time span. Oh. Yeah, it is intense. Yeah. Building up a Reddit account from ground zero now is a lot of work. Intense.
It's a lot of work.
It is. So you have to dedicate yourself to it. But in my opinion, it really pays off, especially if you use a scheduling tool, because I can chillax on like a Sunday and knock out like 70 posts essentially. Wow. With like the most annoying thing is just like having 70 different varying pictures that you can upload, re-upload, remix, re-edit slightly to advertise same different new content. But it is the nice thing. You can always be like, I have new this, new that, special this, special that, cheap this, expensive that, and it's there. It is all there for you, because like I said, I'm used to moderate a subreddit about a fruit I strongly dislike. So if it's not there, make it yourself.
No, honestly. Totally. Sorry, just to go back on the safety thing, because I don't think we actually answered the question yet. But like,
oh my god, right?
No, so that's okay. Like talking about like how to keep yourself safe, and like, because I know like throwaway accounts exist, like watermarking and stuff like that. But taking stuff off the platform, maybe like that way as well, or
I would Yeah, because Reddit will scan your DMs.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, what about that chat and messaging area? Like, is it safe?
It's algorithmically scanned, and I only found this out because I called myself the F slur in a chat and in a comment. And I'm just saying the F slur because I'm not sure if it'll get your podcast banned, because apparently Reddit's really sensitive to that, and you can say pretty much every other word on that site. So we're just like, we're just not touching it, even though, like, we all know.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we all know.
So, like, so like at first when I said it, I was like, that's weird. That I just thought the guy was like salty and reported me for like abusive language. And like, okay, I'll take my like little timeout.
Yeah.
And then like I got a comment, but like the comment was highly upvoted. But then I got another temporary, and I was like, oh, I guess you just literally cannot say this word at all on this platform, which is kind of brand new.
Yeah.
But kind of makes sense. Like, I'm even hearing on Spotify, the song will be explicit. It'll have multiple different swears, and even in different languages. Like, she's such a bitch. It censors the F slur. Like,
interesting.
I would definitely like be careful about what you're saying on platform.
Yeah.
Now, if you use Reddit's native image uploader that they didn't used to have, but they now have, it will strip metadata off your images. So, like, you know, the data that's saved about, like, your GPS location, any EXIF data. I have TikToks going all about what data can be saved in a photo, and how scary it can be, especially now that there are AI/language learning models where, like, you just take, like, a picture of like trees essentially, and it can like locate where you are to a very scary coordinate. So like you have to, and I'm always thinking about in the back of my head, I can't believe I can't remember if she was a Korean or Japanese idol, but she took a selfie in her apartment, and in her irises you could see the skyline of the city. She was murdered by a stalker.
Jesus Christ.
So,
but yes,
because they saw that they were able to identify, and then,
oh my god, that's so freaking crazy. But yeah, stalkers are a thing they can be a thing on Reddit.
Most of the time, like, you just have to worry about content theft and things of that nature, or like a nasty review that's false following you around for a while. But there's always going to be someone nasty pretty much everywhere, every platform you go.
Yes.
And there's always going to be vile and disgusting subreddits. Yes. Like you mentioned at the beginning, I do Reddit consulting. And so, like, the first thing I do is, like, I gauge, I'm like, okay, what kind of language are you comfortable with? Because the thing with Reddit is, once you have your username or, like, the subreddit name, it's set, it's done. There are no takesies, backsies. So even though the language may have evolved since then, and like we don't use certain terms to describe it because, you know, they're racially fetishistic or otherwise, but the subreddit will still have that name because it was created in like 2005, and it'll have like 2.5 million subscribers. And so I'll tell people, like, look, I understand this is an offensive term. I don't support or condone the language. However, you fit the profile. I don't know the polite way to say that, but like, I can't go to like chicks with fat asses and be like, it's me. No, they would bully me off there so fast and so hard. So I tell them, like, you know, you can post to the standard like subreddits, but oftentimes you'll get drowned out by like the, for lack of a better words, normie Stacy type, you know, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl next door, whatever, that, like, looks, you know, the like, teen, whatever. And so, oftentimes, you'll want to be specific and go to these, but it might have offensive. So, I always gauge and I always ask, because there are plenty of subreddits with non-offensive names, and that won't even allow fetishistic terms to be used, when posting selfies, posting content, any of that. But there are subreddits that, like I said, were made in the 2000s. And, like, it was not a different time, but, like, people were still saying things.
Yeah, which are problematic now, but...
yeah, I mean, we're moving forward, like, slightly a little bit. We're pulling out the knife out of the back slowly, inch by inch, as Malcolm X would say.
Well, speaking about subreddits too, like I know that you have like your own bank in your mind, that spreadsheet that has like just all the subreddits. First of all, and in general, Reddit is already super overwhelming. How do you even navigate these subreddits? Because there's just so many at this point, and you're just like, what's going to be good? How are you going to guarantee yourself not getting drowned out with 20,000 million posts from other creators? And like, how do you find really good niche subreddits that are hopefully going to gain some traction? Like, do you have a trick?
So it is a little hit and miss. Reddit does have a search bar. You know what, we're just gonna go, instead of home, we're gonna go to popular, so you don't have to see who I am as a person and learn too much, because like I said, it does not let you have of this. So as you can see, this is Am I the Asshole? If you're on YouTube, you're familiar with this. And it says, like, right here, 1.9 million members. Mm-hmm. But I can go to...
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Let's see if this subreddit still exists. Our burps. Because this is... Yeah, see, 612 mm-hmm. versus the last one we were at, which was
a lot more.
1.9 million.
Right. You can gauge.
But as you notice, Reddit had a search bar, just like TikTok has a search bar. Reddit search is notoriously bad, so oftentimes people will just go to Google and they'll type in just like, the trick is to type in like what you're looking, like, I don't know, type in small butts and then put parenthesis, quotation mark, Reddit, quotation mark, because then it'll show you only like posts from Reddit about small butts. Reddit, yeah. And that's how you will find it. And oftentimes, like I said, there are syndicated subreddits. So, for example, the Dirty Dolls subreddits will have every single subreddit listed. And then those subreddits will have more subreddits. And then even if they aren't necessarily run by their Dirty Dolls, they'll also have, like, Friends of the... So it'll be, like, another syndicated subreddit run by some whole-ass other group of bitches. Like... I don't know if you've ever been on... If people are familiar with Discord, oftentimes they'll be like, hey, this is a partner server. Like, you know, that type... style and type of thing. So...
Right.
You can very easily branch out, and that's how you can tell how big it is. And that's oftentimes why I recommend a post scheduler, or because... Mm-hmm. Especially if, you know, sex work is, you know, a supplementary to your day job, your night job. You can't just be online at noon when like everyone is going to be online, because it is very American centric. So if you are international, like there are a lot of international subreddits. There are subreddits in languages I cannot speak, plenty of them. But it is very much so American-centric and on the American sort of time zone. Primarily, I've noticed, like, typically, like, EST. I heard somebody say, I might have even been on your podcast, like, don't waste your time posting after 5 p.m. And, like, honestly, don't. It's almost not, it's pretty much not worth it. And also, don't spray and pray. Like, don't just upload this... Like, don't upload the same photo with the same caption and title to, like, the 70 different subreddits. Like, you'll just get banned from, like, 70 different subreddits. Yeah. Like...
So it's really important that you customize.
Yes, you want to tailor...
Even if it's a little tweak.
You want to tailor it, especially, like, with more specific the subreddit is. Like, you know, if I'm taking a subreddit for porn chores... Like, you know, I'm not really going to be, you know, twerking. I'm going to be naked doing the dishes. You know, think of it like a cover letter or a resume. You want it to be specific to that subreddit. And that's why I say it's very good for niche or amateur content creation, because, you know, like our burps, there's 612 members. You post something, and even if you post it after 5, it's pretty much going to hit the front page of that subreddit. And all 612 people that are subscribed to that subreddit are going to see it likely at some point on their homepage during the day. So that's why it's good to post
Right.
in a mix of big and small, so you can get like a wide variety of like, there's a lot of people here and I might get drowned out, but like it might go off, and like there's a small amount of people here, but like it's very niche, very small content, and people will buy it.
Totally.
Yeah, and
I wondered, like, sorry, was there like any like tracking tools? Like, if you are tracking clients coming from Reddit, is there any kind of tracking tool that you can use for that?
I've basically
For
trialed and
analytics?
errored my own spreadsheet, and I use planners and stuff that allow me to keep notes on people, but it's very disorganized, especially with the combination of both the old and new UI, allowing both direct DMs and chat messages, and now specifically subreddit chats, where like everybody in a subreddit is going like a hyper specific chat. Think of it like a Discord, but now it's also on Reddit,
Right.
because everybody needs to add a new feature every other week.
Right. Just like calm down.
Yeah, like let him take a nap, please. So like it is a lot to keep up with, and it is a lot of like human interaction. But like if you are selling worn items, it is fantastic for that. I've made more sales on worn items off of Reddit than I have off of specifically like paid for subscription sites that like I personally really love. Like I love like all things worn, and I still will pay for and have a subscription to them, but I still make more money off Reddit, and you know, it's very it's strange and it's weird, but it gives and it takes. So like you will meet the worst people and you will meet the best people, because it's the internet, and that's how it works.
Yes.
So like
that's how
you kind of have to like know what you're getting into, that there may be like insensitive language at best. I mean, like we've all seen Elon's Twitter. We all like Reddit is just like a little bit like cleaner 4chan. So
somewhere in the middle.
Like it's nice because you don't have to censor or anything like that as much as you have to do on Twitter, or especially like TikTok and YouTube. But it is very like, people are crazy on the internet, and Reddit is more anonymous than most platforms, and that anonymity, especially with when people who don't need it to sell content and don't need to verify, they can just make throwaway after throwaway after throwaway for the most part. And as long as they're changing MAC addresses and IP addresses, they'll be able to dodge those bans. It's not going to be particularly hard for them to continue to harass you. But you as a seller who has to verify yourself and your image, it is going to be much harder. So you are at a disadvantage there as a seller. And like technically throwaway counts aren't supposed to happen. So I would even be careful like using just creating a throwaway because like you want to ask relationship advice, a personal question. Like honestly, go get a friend or pay a therapist.
Pay some
because
therapy.
If you're going to Reddit for relationship advice, honey, the relationship is not the Iranian yogurt is not the issue. Just like I don't really know what to tell you at that point, but delete the Facebook, hit the gym, marry the lawyer. I don't know, like.
Well, anonymity is can be also a great part.
Yes,
too,
especially
for discreetness.
Because there's
on both the client and the seller side.
Especially because Reddit predates OnlyFans and everything like that by a large margin. So there were a lot of people who would be posting nudes, but essentially for free, but they wouldn't want their face to be shown. So faceless content was really, really popular and big on Reddit, because you could see like real people, as if sex workers are not real people. But like, moving on, you can see girl next door, real people, but like you wouldn't see her face because she didn't want to get fired. And logical, makes sense. When you're online and face out, it all makes sense. You are much more exposed and much more at risk to things like stalkers. Not being able to exit sex work, not being able to exit. The United States lacks GDPR protections, which are basically it's a regulation in the European Union for images and rights that you have to your image and data online, that we don't have those regulations
Right.
in America. So you got to be very careful is essentially what I'm saying. Like, be careful, be safe.
Totally.
But it's not, people whine about it all the time. Like, it's so hard. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said about Twitter for the first month. And then I got over it. Like, yes, there's a learning curve. Yes, it's more annoying now.
Yeah.
I made a little 10-minute tutorial, and I normally, like, if you contact me on, like, a paid site, normally, like, it'll automatically charge you, but, like, most of the time I'll just slip people to the DMs for free, because I don't really like to gatekeep resources, especially with how, like, obtuse Reddit is, and with new and old Reddit, and it's just, man, it's a mess over there sometimes. So
No, I checked out the tutorial too, guys. And if anyone is interested in a quick little video overview, and I think the video overview was actually really helpful as well. Like, I personally am a very visual learner, so I need to, like, see everything and, like, kind of do it as I'm watching. Priestess Poison has made it, and I can plug that link into the show notes. So if you all are listening and have gotten this far, good for you. That's a nice little bonus free for you. Go click on the link and it's free. So, but of course, please thank Priestess Poison as well, because I'm not a person to gatekeep information, which is why I do this podcast for free, and I've been doing this for many years. I really believe in just helping folks, especially for helping other sex working folks. I think it's really great that we can try to help each other and give back to the community that way. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I can also include a link to, there is a spreadsheet I use to track. If you want your own custom spreadsheet, I guess reach out to me on any social platform, and I can make one for you. I only charge for those because they take so much time.
It's work.
It is work, because there are hundreds of thousands of subreddits that you could theoretically be posting to and advertising your content on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have notes in here because I'm working on one right now, and it's like, you person left off at our foot job cum, because, like, they also make feet stuff, and I'm like, okay, and so I'm like, I only made it down to F apparently with that, like, specific custom spreadsheet I'm making for that person. So when I tell you, subreddits get very specific. They get incredibly specific. I mean, at one point I was bullied off of our cute little butts because my butt was too small.
What?
Yes. I was bullied off a subreddit
that's subjective.
Yeah. It was like girls with small asses or girls with little ass or something. And I was like, it was like one of my really early modeling photos. So, like, yeah, it wasn't super great, but, like, I think the funniest comment was, the ass needs to be in existence.
You're like, thank you for the backhanded compliment.
Like, some of my favorite, like, I used to have before the Facebook was permanently, like, zucked, I used to have just, like, screen caps of my favorite, like, Reddit haters, and because they will, like, they'll make fun of you, but, like, they'll be funny about it at least. Most of the time they'll be funny about it. My favorite is, good gods, I almost threw up with how ugly you are. It's bad. I think that, like, it's bad just sells it. Like, so, like, everywhere you are going to have thick skin, you're going to have to whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, they are really funny when they insult you. So, I mean, they do have that, and there are even subreddits specifically for that. Like, our Roast Me is very popular for sex workers, but you will pretty much just be getting roasted for being a sex worker. So it's, like, silly, and it's also really dumb because, like, even if you're just, like, a girl online, they just assume you're going to have an OnlyFans, and that's why you're posting on our Roast Me. Even though, like, when I was, like, a Twitch streamer, and, like, I don't even think my Patreon was active, I posted on our Roast Me for, like, I don't know, shits and giggles. The roasts weren't very good. Really? I could do better. I'm a vicious mockery bard, so, I mean, I guess anyone out there into humiliation, hit me up. I need a new D&D sub, so.
we'll be posting all of Priestess Poison's links in the show notes as well, and we'll be also shouting them out at the very end of the show. We're nearly there, but a couple other things as well. I know that you also want to talk about cost-benefit analysis as well.
So
yes,
there are a million different platforms you can advertise on, and if you're like me, you will want to advertise on all of them, and you will go insane. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Don't work 20-hour days and then end up in the hospital for working 20-hour days. It will undo everything. Don't. So I would say, like, you have to give it a fair shot, because it takes a minimum of 30 days to have your profile be, like, not a new account, and, like, have you regularly actively commenting, posting, and that sort of thing. So you have to give it a fair shake. But like I said, I literally sit down on a Sunday and I'll knock out 70 posts in a couple hours, scheduling wise.
Wow.
Because I'm used to the formula. I have it down and what I need to get done. And I have my nice little spreadsheet that helps me keep things organized. But it is a lot of time, and it is a lot of direct talking to people. So if you, let's say, make most of your money in clip sales, it might be beneficial for you to just, like, not necessarily post in selling subreddits, but post in, like, the fetishy or the BDSM, and then just have, like, maybe, you know how people will, like, do, like, a link that does to another link that will then link to the OnlyFans. Pull one of those so you can. If you don't want the direct interaction with a lot of people, because that is required if you want to, like, do direct selling, like direct selling of videos, direct selling of worn items, whereas, you know, there's a whole lot of safety. Like I'm saying, if you're doing direct selling of videos and you're not uploading it directly through Reddit, which you shouldn't, like, make sure you're stripping the metadata either through a stripper or by uploading it to, like, Imgur and downloading it again. Something of that nature, so that you are protecting yourself and you're not going to, you know, and worn items. If you don't have a P.O. box, which you don't need to, I always just say, just, like, pick a coffee shop, like a Starbucks or a Dunkin', in, like, a city near you, or a city you're pretending to be in, and have that be your return address. That's about it. That's it.
Yep. Sometimes I use hotel addresses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had to do that before.
Really
yeah,
vague.
like, you know,
I'm selling stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, what are they gonna do? Who's gonna know? Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah.
No,
it's true. But yeah, it's an important point that you're stressing there too. One, yes, be safe. There's a lot of interesting people that are out on the internet. And it's a big wide world in Reddit as well too. So, I mean, this conversation has been so packed today. Oh my gosh. I'm just wondering if we have missed anything. I'm just quickly going through my notes.
I have the notes in my head, which is always a bad idea when you have ADHD, to keep things in your head. Because I was, like, doing a lot of things before this. I was like, oh, I have to put on makeup, and the IRS won't let me make this tax deductible. Like, let's make the most out of this.
I mean, to wrap up the conversation, because we had so many different areas that we kind of discussed and covered today too. I mean, I always like to try to leave the listeners with some helpful advice, which you already have as well. But, like, in terms of, like, if you are trying to schedule these posts, like, do you have a specific formula, or do you have a specific process that you do? And I know that you are super well versed in the Reddit world, and of course with all your subreddits, but, like, some sound advice for
don't use the same picture and repost it to a million different subreddits. People get mad because they don't want to go. It's like essentially going to a Twitter feed and just seeing the same selfie over and over and over and over. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to scroll through your media and just see that. No. So, you know, change up the posts, make sure that they're subreddit appropriate, make sure you're following all the rules of the subreddit, still watermark your pics, and make sure usually they only want your Reddit username watermarked. So try to make it, if you can, exactly the same as whatever your spicy site is, whichever you're using. But don't, like, do, like, Priestess Poison _ like OF, because then it'll automatically be deemed like your advertising in your username, and you will not be allowed on the stuff.
Yeah.
So even if they're like, there are plenty of subreddits that are like, sellers are allowed to post here, but you can't sell. So you can just like post like a picture of yourself and say like, I look good today. And then hopefully someone will click on your profile, see that you do stuff, and then go do those sites.
Yeah.
But then there are other sites that are like, I look good today. And then you can like leave in the comments, be like, if you want to buy my socks or subscribe to my OnlyFans, here's the link. And I would be... Yeah.
Just read the rules.
Yeah, and I would, now that you can create like a pin post in bio, I would do that because links are normally filtered automatically by like the Reddit algorithm comment bots. So I would just say like a big like, see my bio for things I sell, a spicy site, you know, like create a little, you know, like it's like any other site now, essentially. It used to be all forums and anonymity, but now it's more of a social media site with a profile and a platform. And it was when they introduced your own personal avatar, like, that was my own world. That was my own Dramageddon. Like, I don't care about Tati. That was my own Dramageddon. It was like, anytime any change happens on Reddit, like, a bunch of man-children shit their pants collectively. And which I love it, and
we don't like change.
I love it and I hate it at the same time. So yeah, just be sure you're doing that. Safety. It is a little bit of trial and error, and, like, I wouldn't stress out if you get banned from, like, one subreddit or even from, like, a syndicate of subreddits, because, like, there are new ones every single day. There are new, like, and so it's always just a cycle. So just, like, do your best, and if you mess up, just, like, know that because it's mostly just going to be located to, like, one mod. Hopefully you just didn't, like, mess up with, like, one of the, like, big fancy... You know how every platform has, like, the CEO moderator type deal. That's like, this is an unpaid position, sir. Why are you spending so much money or so much time devoted to moderating 100 different subreddits? Okay, sir. Okay. So yeah, so like,
nice life.
So just be careful about that. And if you want to get the best bang for your buck, a mix of this and that. And when you're going through scheduling, just make sure you're following the rules. Some will require you to post selling. Yeah. Like in brackets before your post. Others, like I said, will allow you to post a selfie, but like not say that you sell stuff. Others will allow you to post a selfie and leave a comment saying you sell stuff. Don't post links in the comments, and try to think if there's like anything else that's like really important to get out there about it. But yeah, just
these are all really
I would say just like pretty much just like focus on the new UI. There's no real point to using the old UI except for to explain sort of how convoluted it is now and why it is that way. That's really the only point and why I only spend any bit of the tutorial explaining of what old Reddit used to look like and, you know, what I grew up on. My own personal Club Penguin.
Well, those links are in the show notes below, but we also need to include your links as well.
Yes,
Poison, so if you don't mind, where can we find you?
I don't know if my website will be up in time by this is going out, but so I would end of July. So okay, end of July. Okay,
yeah, so.
It should be vampirepriestpoison.com.
Cool.
I mean, I'm typing it in right now. Maybe not. So like, maybe I just have to do www. Because I've been in and out of the hospital, so interacting with my web designer has been rough. So I would just say go to the my .bio/vampriestpoison, and that'll have all of my links. Or my Twitter page. Perfect. Usually is pretty poppin'. I'm active everywhere. Unfortunately, with everywhere smacking us down like we're you know, one of those little games at Chuck E. Cheese, you know. It's kind of hard to keep an account, so I'll figure it out. I believe it it is just www.vampire maybe it's Vampire Priestess Poison. This doesn't sound right, but let me
it's okay. I'll write it later and I'll edit it. So
I was just gonna be like, so either put my.bio/vampriestpoison or www.vampirepriestpoison.com. And it'll be up there, ready to go, ready to host. I'm working on getting my website up and running because it'll just be like, you know, with everyone else smacking us down like a whack-a-mole. If I'm hosting my own site, you can't ban me from my own site. So
there we go. Well, that's it. You heard them there. So check out the links in the show notes. Go give them a follow. Go follow them on Reddit. Do all the things that you need to do. And for all you lovely people listening out there, it's new episodes every single Sunday. If you have the time to rate 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and write a review, that would be awesome because that really helps with people finding the show. And also would just love a share with your other fellow adult creators and sex workers out there, because knowledge is great and we can all benefit from that. So if you do want to get in touch with myself, you can follow me on Twitter. It's Stripped by Sia. Instagram is Stripped by Sia Podcast. My spicy links are found everywhere, but I never really advertise it on here. You can find those links elsewhere. And if you want to be on the show, I'm still taking some applications for the rest of the season. You can pitch yourself at strippedbysia.com. Under contact, you can properly pitch yourself. So send me some ideas on what kind of episodes you're wanting to chat about. And of course, if you're wanting to financially support the show, give myself a nice little donation for all the great work that we do here with all the guests that I bring on. You could go check it out. It's patreon.com/strippedbysia. And for that, yeah, that's pretty much it for today, everyone. We'll catch everyone in for another episode next Sunday. Thank you so much, Priestess Poison, for coming on the show today.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a great one. Love the podcast, and I hope we keep it up.
Thank you. You're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellandarama, and photography by Ian Dabrin.